My name's Douglas Gillespie and I run a company called Entertainers Agency. I can name the artists, but clearly not the clients because a lot of corporate business and private business is down to confidentiality. But we had, for instance, we had Billy Joel over for a private party for a client and his entire band. On another occasion, we had Jackson Browne and his band. We took them off stage in San Diego and packed them into my client's two private jets and flew the band in one private jet and the gear and the roadies in the other private jet over to Scotland for the party because it was a birthday party. These are just such fun things to be able to do. We had a family birthday party in a beautiful castle in Scotland, where at the end of the dinner, the wife of the birthday boy told her husband that they had a special surprise for him. And what we did was we opened the curtains at the end of this huge great hall in a castle and had Andrea Boccelli in a kilt with with a soloist, with a soprano from Milan and a piano player with a candelabra. And it was just wonderful, wonderful things to be able to do. When you have clients who have those kinds of budgets, ironically, very, very big name acts, likes of Billy Joel and Andrea Bocelli, they love doing those kind of events. The corporate market is so different from every other form of entertainment because 9 times out of 10, if you've got a really good act, you think, I've got a great act, I could make a lot of money in the corporate market, I want to go out and do it, that you won't be allowed to do what you do. Corporate clients have a huge tendency to want to book you, but to get you to do something entirely different from what you're good at. And it's become more and more marked these days. Very rarely do I get a client who says, I would like something, and I give it to them and they go, that's fantastic. 9 times out of 10 they say, okay, I've got this swing trio. Could I get them to maybe come along with a list of songs and we'll put them on an iPad and we'll let the audience choose the songs that they want to hear. And they always try to make it something different from what it is. And acts find this very, very frustrating. To be an act in the corporate market, you need various skills. Number one is an incredibly thick skin because you have to take an awful lot of advice and instruction from people who know absolutely nothing about you or what you do or how to get the best out of you. This is all going to be very negative, but I will come to the positives. Number two is you need to really want to earn money. There's a huge amount of money in the corporate market, but you need to have a very, very clearly defined business plan for doing this. I'll give you an example. There is a band. There's a band that have almost cleaned up in the UK when it comes to doing corporate parties. They do them for A-list celebs and they do them for the best Park Lane hotels, and they're always working. They work 5, 6 nights a week. They earn on average 6, 7, 8,000 pounds a night. There are only 5 of them. What they have done that is so unique is that they have everything down to the finest degree for everything that they do on an event. That they can set up a 6-piece band in 20 minutes, start to finish, including the mixer and the sound engineer, getting everything sorted. Corporate clients love that. That's the opposite from a festival or a big live event where you're allowed time to do exactly what is going to get the best out of you. For corporate people, they have slots to fill in events, and whoever can fill them most effectively and efficiently and proficiently are the people who get the work. It's not about how good a band you are. You have to be a good band to begin with. You have to be a good musician or a great comedian, but you have to be able to fit in with what the corporate market wants. If you take a festival books a big named band because they like their music and they want to see them perform. A corporate client will book a really good band because they want to create an impact with clients and they want clients to see how great a company they are to be able to have such wonderful entertainment, but they want to do it on their terms. If the managing director doesn't like a particular song, you will not be allowed to play it, no matter how good you are at it. If the managing director's wife wants to have pictures of the band wearing pixie hats, you may have to wear pixie hats and have your picture taken with the managing director's wife. It is a very bizarre world at times, but the rewards are huge. The work is there. This band, as I said, are earning probably, 30,000-40,000 pounds a week. And they travel all over the country, and they're slick and professional and quick, and they know exactly what corporate clients like. You couldn't put them on at a festival. It's just a different thing altogether. Now that's a really interesting one. Is it appropriate for me to give away a big secret that not a lot of performers know that they should know? It shouldn't be a secret, but this has really annoyed me since day one. And this is something which every performer working in definitely the UK, or I imagine this might apply internationally, but I'll tell you how it applies in the UK, and I would be astounded if any more than a handful of performers knew this, but it's the absolute cornerstone. When you set yourself up to be involved in booking acts for clients, you can be one of two things. You can be an entertainment agent, or you can be an entertainment business. And these are entirely different statuses. I'll give you, for instance, if I came to you and said, if a client came to me and said, look, I'm looking for a band to play at my daughter's wedding. I've got £1,000 to spend. Can you get me someone? And I said, yes, I've got the very band for you. And I phoned your band and said, hey, my client has got £1,000 to spend on daughter's wedding and you're available. Would you like to do the gig? And you say, yes, absolutely. And I say to you, I would like 20% of that £1,000 by way of a commission. That makes me an entertainment agent. And the reason it makes me an agent is because the client knows how much the act is being paid, and the act knows how much the client is paying me. And my percentage is agreed with the performer, not with the client. Now, ironically, if 2 weeks before the wedding, the client goes bankrupt or decides that the wedding is off and decides to be stubborn and not pay the band, and the band come to me and say, oh, we've been cancelled, you booked us and we want £1,000, I am not in the least responsible, because I am not a principal, I am an agent, and the contract exists between the act and the client, and I sit squarely in the middle as the agent looking at both sides, but I have no contractual responsibility whatsoever other than a duty of care to the client and to the act, which most good agents would do. Very few acts know that, because the alternative scenario is a client comes to me and says, I would like a band for my daughter's wedding, it's in a beautiful venue, I've got £1,000 to spend, have you got someone for me? And I say, I've got the very band, and I phone you up and say, James, I've got a beautiful wedding that your band would be really good at, I've got £750 for you, would you like to do it? And you say, yes, I would. I then become an entertainment business. And ironically, acts don't really know this, but they should. On the confirmation that gets issued to you by me acting as an agent or acting as an entertainment business should clearly show how I am acting. Because in the second scenario, I would send you a contract that would say entertainers agency acting as an entertainment business. And the ramifications of that are that I am a principal in the contract. Your contract is with me as the band, and the client's contract is with me. The money that comes from the gig belongs to me, and I pay you as a subcontracted employee. So it's an interesting one. Which one is better to work for? It's a difficult question, isn't it? The corporate world has got specific slots that it needs filled all over the world, no matter where you are. I'll give you the easiest one of all. Every corporate dinner every after conference dinner, every corporate party will have drinks, dinner, some form of entertainment, and then dancing. And the golden spot is that little spot at coffee stages. If you've got an act that can communicate in 30 minutes or less, is polished, professional, very clean and sparkly, very original, very entertaining, and communicates from the first note. You've got no time to build up. You've got 30 minutes to communicate. And there are a number of performers who've cornered the market in this and are earning in the United Kingdom at the moment between minimum of £3,000 up to £8,000 for this 30-minute set. That's what I call the golden set. And when you find a performer who's able to fill that slot, that is an absolute goldmine for the agency and the performer. The reason being that corporate clients value the slot more than they value the act. They have this slot when everyone from the company's there, the managing director down to the latest recruit, and all their top clients are there, and this is when they want to put the company on show. When it comes to the dancing afterwards, anything goes, but this little 30-minute golden spot is the one that counts. In Great Britain, there's literally about 7 or 8 acts that go around and just fill those slots all over the country, and it's absolutely marvellous for them. The cheaper you are and the more willing you are to reduce your costs, the less successful you'll be. People in the corporate market equate cheap with very poor. So you've got to set your stall out from the very beginning, and you've got to be absolutely adamant that this is what you charge. And if people want it, they'll get something absolutely wonderful. If they book something cheaper, they'll get something less than you. They will lose something that you can provide. So far too many acts are driven by the false comprehension that every client is driven by money. The other thing to remember, and this is something that I've actually told to other entertainment agents when giving them advice when they start up, and this is a free piece of advice. Always remember, it's not your money. What I spend on a bottle of wine is not necessarily what you would spend on a bottle of wine, but it's my privilege to do so. What I spend on a meal is not what you would spend on a meal, it's my privilege to do so. No one will tell me, oh no, you shouldn't go out for dinner to that restaurant, it's too expensive, you should go to this one. I will make my own mind up on what I spend my money. So consequently, when a client comes to me and I say, and if I were to say, oh, you don't want to book them, they're too expensive. It's not my money, it's the client's money. And as long as any performer remembers when speaking to someone, it's the client's right to decide how much they want to spend. It's a really good tip, and it really works if you remember that. And if you're confident and secure that you've got something good to offer, do not undersell it. Undersell it once and you'll never get that price again. Similarly, and here's a strange one, putting your price on a website is suicide. I actually refuse to book any performer who appears on any other agency's website with their price. Because once the price is up there, some clients will take that as being gospel, even if the gig is 500 miles from your home and involves 8 ferry crossings to get to the gig and overnight accommodation. If you put your price on the website, that's what people believe. Because when you go to Amazon and you see what CDs cost, that's what they cost. When you put your price on a website, that's what you cost. And this business is not as cut and dried as you will always work for X pounds. Every single gig has to be costed on what you have to do. And that's one that sadly some agencies are actually dragging the business down. This is me as an old fart now giving you this bit, dragging it down by putting prices on because they think clients want to know that. No, don't put your price on a website. It'll get you nowhere. That was a freebie, that one.